We've got another Oddisode coming for you. We appreciate you guys tuning in a couple extra times a week, and we really appreciate our guests that have been on the show. If you're a new-time listener, check us out. Subscribe. We're Oddity Files, the podcast, and we bring you creepy, cryptid, otherworldly stories that we find on the internet. We have a huge library to go back and binge on. We appreciate your time. Remember, stay safe, stay healthy. Weird is the new cool, and ghost on. Hey guys, welcome back to another Oddisode. I have another dear friend of mine that I don't see nearly enough, Dustin Pari, and you may know him from Ghost Hunters, but you should know him from Twitter and his Hey Got a Minute series on YouTube. This man is more inspirational than you ever could have imagined in your entire life. Dustin, welcome to the show.
Hey, good to be here.
So go ahead and tell our listeners a little bit about your Hey Got a Minute series.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, mostly known for the paranormal stuff, but the motivational work came as a byproduct of that. And I'm just out there trying to help people out. And, I've always been putting out motivational, things on Twitter and Facebook and such. And my books have a lot of that type of stuff in there. But I wanted to make a fun little video series. And if I want to do anything, I have to be entertained by it as well, And so I made this series where every day of the week has its own little theme, like this Melodic Monday where we talk about like a music lyric and I dress up as like one of the Beatles or Elvis or like some hair band. And Techno Tuesday, I like wear like ski goggles and there's blinking lights and I yell about how like technology is separating us from each other. And it just goes on and on like that. And we did one series 2 years ago. We did 60 episodes and people seem to like them. So we did another 60 batch that just wrapped up this year. So we have over 120 of those on there. And then we have a bunch of my videos from my lecture series, Magical Mystery Box, motivational lectures and stuff. And they're all fun. I try to keep them short, like 2 to 3 minutes tops, because we're a fast-paced society. Everyone's busy. Everyone's doing things. And that's why Hey Get a Minute came together, because it's like, let me just give people a little something maybe, to make them think and stop and pause for a moment,
And everybody needs a little bit of that in your life. So tell me a little bit about your lecture series. I've not been able to make one yet, but I see you promoting it often on Twitter. Tell me a little bit about that. You go to schools and libraries and things like that?
Mm-hmm. I stay very busy doing these kind of things. And I'm really thankful for it. In addition to the day job, I'm a regular on all the lecture circuits in the fall, all the paranormal ones and all the different casinos and expos and stuff across the country. And then in New England, I do a series of library lectures, and some of them are paranormal and some are motivational. Even my paranormal lectures have a lot of motivational moments in there. A lot of things to make people think, because I talk about spirits and about how we're all spirits going through this human existence and, what's put upon us really to look out for each other and to lift each other up all the time. So that's important, and that's in there. And but yeah, I do a bunch of different motivational lectures, and one of my favorite ones is called the Magical Mystery Box, and my wife refers to it. I want to say lovingly, but I think that's the wrong term. But she refers to it as my big box of crap. But I have this box, and I've got all kinds of like just weird trinkets and things in there, and I put new ones in all the time and change them up, and each one has a story. And the idea came from, I remember being a kid. And remember back in school, Kitsie, where we had like the Arrow or the Troll book forms, and you could get the Pick a Path, like Choose Your Own Adventure book.
Yep.
And so I was like, I want to make a lecture where it's not the same for me all the time. And listen, I love the people that come to my paranormal lectures and stuff, but come October 30th, because I don't work Halloween, come October 30th, and I've been doing one of those every night since sometime in mid-September. I know where every joke falls. I never have to look at the slides again. And I'm glad, and it's a new show for everybody every night. But I started to understand why bands want to play their new material, and also why nobody wants to hear the new material. They still want to talk about, the time I got knocked down in Lep Castle. Like, okay, I'll tell you that one again. But the Magical Mystery Box is a Choose Your Own Adventure lecture, and I invite people from the audience, from the schools, from the libraries, wherever it is. I've done corporate events, and I invite people up to choose something out of the box, and we talk a little bit why they chose it, And sometimes it actually coincides with the story, and I tell the story of what that object represents. And then we go on to the next person. And we don't get through the whole box. And it's never the same lecture twice. I never know what item's coming up next, so it's fun for me as a presenter and entertainer. And it's a lot of fun. So I love doing that kind of stuff, and I'm looking forward to get back on the road and doing those things. And in the meantime, I'm writing new material and doing all my things here too. So we got a lot going on.
That's awesome. That is genius, by the way. That way you're not feeling like, you're not giving your best performance because you feel like you're just reciting it. Well done, sir.
Well, thank you very much, my lady. I wouldn't be a very good motivational speaker if I was bored with the presentation,
Exactly. You're into the paranormal, just like everybody who's listening to this right now. I'm sure they would recognize your face if they could see it right now from the Ghost Hunters series. I have a pop question for you. It just kind of popped into my head. I'm going to throw it out there.
Okay.
If you could meet one famous dead person as a spirit, who would it be? I think I know who it is.
Elvis Presley.
I knew it.
I love the King. I'm sitting here in my office and I have a big oil painting of the King that my godfather had given to my dad when I was like maybe 5 or 6 years old. And it hung in the walls of our apartment. And Dad was an over-the-road trucker. And Dad would come back from being on the road, and where it once hung in the bedroom, Mom moved it to the hallway. Mom moved it to the entryway. And a couple of years back, my dad gave me the photo. It was a big moment. It was a big family moment. He gave me the painting of Elvis, and now he hangs in my office because my wife won't let me hang it anywhere else. So it's really well done.
It's not Elvis, is it?
No, it's a nice oil painting. It's based on one of the album covers, and it's beautiful. He's got the white jumpsuit on. There's even little shiny little fake jewels in the ring. It's amazing. I love it. I sit here and look at the King. We have a moment together, like every once in a while. It's great.
So what would you ask the spirit of Elvis if you came across him?
Oh man, I don't know. There's so much I want to talk about, like it's just this, he's such an icon, I probably want to talk food with him because it seemed like that was a real good passion, like I'm
asking for his peanut butter nanner sandwich recipe.
Yeah, exactly. I want because I got up last night. Well, last night was a crazy night, Kitsie. I'm like, listen, drink responsibly, but sometimes you need a little something, And I just during the quarantine, even though I'm an essential worker going to work every day, my schedule is not what it normally is. Like I go in when I want, like around 9, and I leave around 3. So I'm not working like 8 to 10 hour days like normal. So I'm catching up on some things that I always wanted to do, but I never had the time, and it's like stupid things. Like I've never seen Game of Thrones. So I said, I'm going to start watching Game of Thrones. So now I'm like season 5, I think. And like I watch like 4 or 5 episodes a day at night.
So good.
I'm up to like 3 or 4 in the morning. It's amazing. The writing is so good. So last night, as I'm watching it, I'm like, man, they're always drinking wine. I haven't had wine in a long time, Like I drink rum like during my little interviews and stuff. I'd take a little walk at night. But I was like, I'm going to go get some wine. And nobody else wanted wine. So I drank. Kitsie, this is not a proud moment. But somewhere between the hours of 10 o'clock and 3 a.m., I drank an entire bottle of red wine and ate a hollow chocolate Easter bunny. Wow.
You are my kind of people, Dustin.
Like, what happened to me? But it was wonderful. It was a great night.
And there was blood everywhere on the TV from Game of Thrones. It sounds magical.
But then when I was all done, I was ready for bed. I went downstairs and I made a peanut butter and banana sandwich. And but I don't think I do it quite like the King does, but it was great.
Oh, that is a beautiful story, sir. I cannot thank you for that enough. I completely forgot we were talking about peanut butter and banana sandwiches because there was wine and chocolate.
Yeah, it all comes back home. That's the art of good storytelling, Kitsie. That's what we do with the lectures all the time. It's also because I have ADD and get off topic, but then find my way back home.
I was literally going to say, well, thank God you don't have ADHD like I do, because we'd have never gotten back to the original subject.
That's it. I may have it. I don't know. I don't sit still long enough for them to test me for any of these things.
I call it self-diagnosed ADHD with a lot of OCD mixed in, and my life is miserable. That's why I drink wine.
That's all right. We're all going to have somebody had actually at one of Amy Bruni's events a couple of years ago saw me do the lecture, and she came up and asked me about ADD and ADHD. I'm like, oh no, like I did the same thing. I'm like, probably. And she's like, I've got something that can help you with that. I'm like, I don't want any help with it. This is how the genius works. I think if we start tinkering with what's under the hood, I don't want to screw this up. This is how we work,
I wouldn't be nearly as interesting if I took drugs for it. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is a natural, complete. I fell down 32 slate stairs when I was a kid and cracked my head open. And so I think,
shit.
yeah, like right down the middle. Like, I mean, thankfully I didn't crack the front up too bad, where I was still, nice enough to be put on reality television. But I mean, mostly we film in the dark anyway, so it's a very small criteria. But yeah, I cracked it right down the middle. They put me back together, but I don't think it's ever been right since. I don't know.
Oh, for all the concussions I had as a child, I think you've just explained my life. So I appreciate that. So are you still getting out there and investigating? I think I've seen you doing some events where people can come and investigate with you, correct?
Oh, yeah. I do the event circuit, and then, I do some of the guest investigations and those kind of things. But then locally, Rhode Island, Mass, Connecticut, my buddy Cody Desmian, he was on the TAPS home team for years. He and I still go out and investigate locally, just like homes and things, like small cases and stuff. And, we just kind of do it that way. But, I'm still very much involved, and I still love all this stuff. And I love going out on the road and doing these things. And it's so crazy. Like spring going by so fast. I'm like, pretty soon it'll be Halloween. And I'm like super excited for it.
You've had all this time to rest and relax, and then boom, right into it again.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I've got new lecture material coming up, and I redecorated my office. I've got everything. It looks like Haunted Mansion like exploded on one wall. I think I spent all my money on Disney merchandise, but I'm happy with it, so that's okay.
No, literally the last time I was at Disney, it was right before everything went down. I think it was in February. I literally bought everything Haunted Mansion I could find. I have Haunted Mansion wallpaper leggings. I have a ridiculously expensive Dooney and Burke, I think it is, backpack. And I just couldn't stop myself. It's so amazing.
Yeah, I'll when we're all done, I'll send you a photo later and show you, because it's really crazy. But yeah, you go to the Memento Mori store, and it's like, I guess I'll just give you my credit card and just ship this stuff to my house.
Or you just ding the wristband on the thing. It's not real money. Right?
No, my God, I didn't realize till when I came home, because we go like every January, and I didn't realize until like 3 days that I was home this year that I was still wearing the magic band. It's like, this doesn't work anymore. I can't go to Dunkin' with this in the morning.
Oh, man. So, Dustin, this is the question I ask all, the paranormal celebrities, if you will. What got you into this in the first place?
So my story starts with a shadow figure when I was about 9 years old. And I was very much an OCD kind of kid. Like every night I would make rigatoni pasta with white butter, and I'd cook it al dente, and then I'd get into bed and I'd watch reruns of Star Trek, and I would eat that, and then sometimes I'd have some bacon with it. It was wonderful. And then I would get all nice and comfortable in bed and relax and get ready for sleep. And one night there was the shadow figure, unbeknownst to me at the time what the heck it was. I just look up and in the doorway, and there's this 6 foot tall outline of a human being, but what looks like gray, like gas vapors inside it, and the light behind it's on. The hallway light is on. My parents are just beyond that hallway in the living room, and I am like scared to death. And I pull the covers over my head, and I say my prayers, and I never want to see it again. And well, I lived there till I was 17, and I never did see it again. But that planted that seed in my head. I wanted to know more about these things. I already had a natural love for Halloween in the fall and everything, and now I wanted to know. I was like, wait, I just saw something I have no explanation for. And, being as young as I am, I was around before the internet. So I went to the local library, and I got, the New England, like, haunted legend stories and Hans Holzer books and those kind of things. And that's how this whole crazy thing began. And I still love it so much. And now it's fun being a father. And, my daughter's going to be 13 soon. And she's always been interested in this stuff. And, I'd come home and play EVPs for her. And then she'd bring her school friends over. She'd, Daddy, play the EVP of that little girl. I'm like, no, we can't play that for random kids. Like, we don't know what their parents think or anything. Like, you don't want to scare anybody. Like, they might not get it like you do,
Not until they their parents sign this release form.
Yeah, we get a waiver. Yeah, this is one of my favorite things, Kitsie. She comes home one day with one of her little school friends, like early elementary, and I'm sitting on the couch. Like it's Sunday, I'm like watching NASCAR. I'm working on my lecture stuff. I'm on the computer, and she brings this little girl over, and she says, "This is my dad," and I'm waiting for her to say he was on Ghost Hunters or something like that, because she does that,
Okay.
until I told her not to. I was like, we don't need to talk about that. But Instead, she goes, he cried during Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh,
And I just was like, and the girl just looked at me like, you buffoon, and walked away.
I did too, Dustin.
But I cried during Wreck-It Ralph. I cried during Wreck-It Ralph 2. Like anything about, I think that
Every
that show,
Disney movie gets me. It's like they have this algorithm.
Right.
You know it's coming, but you don't know why you're going to cry. But you're already feeling like you're going to, like Coco.
Yeah.
I was watching on an international flight to London. And I'm sitting there. We got a super cheap upgrade to first class, which that's the only way to go to London.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm blubbering like an idiot with my, my mimosa in my hand at the end of this movie, hoping to God nobody saw me. I wasn't expecting it. I hadn't watched a Pixar movie in a hot minute, but see, now I've got a grandson who's 4, so Pixar is back in serious rotation in this house.
Yeah, for sure. Did you watch Onward, the new one, Onward?
Oh, it was so good.
I really loved it. Like the whole idea about how like we're all, because I look at them like I really do feel like we're all magical creatures. We all have incredible abilities, but because like now our phone does everything for us, we don't do anything. Like, I mean, working in healthcare, right? Like every day I have to go in and now I call 30 to 60 patients every day to reschedule the appointments, so that when my front desk staff comes back, when we reopen, they're not inundated with all these calls. So every day I call at least 30 to 60 people, and I'll tell them, okay, so your new appointment is going to be, May, 15th at 3:00. Okay, so can you email me that? I'm like, I'm telling you right now, your appointment is, May 15th, 3:00. Well, can you text it to me? Like, can't you just write it down? Like, can you take like just one little bit of responsibility for yourself? Yeah, it's like, my God, or just like type it in your phone now. Like, dear God. And like, we've become so dependent on all the stuff that we can't do anything ourselves. And there's no responsibility anymore. None. It drives me crazy.
None. So, but I am on my phone 24/7, and I always say I'm Alzheimer's years old because I feel like I can't remember that kind of stuff anymore. But I think it's just because it's always in my hand. I don't have to.
Right. Yeah, for sure. We've become weakened by it because it's always there. So it's always done for us now. It's crazy. It really is.
Absolutely. Did you see Disney's coming out with Pixar's coming out with a new movie about ghosts?
No, I did not.
You know what? It's called Soul. It's got like Jamie Foxx in it and Tina Fey. I mean, some really big names. And at first I was like, ooh, look at Disney. And then they played the trailer for Onward. Yeah. And then Frozen 2 was all about the witchy stuff.
Right.
Disney's got going on.
Yeah, they're getting into it. That's good. It was funny. We were watching, I think it was Saturday morning. I was making breakfast and the little one was on the couch and I could see the TV and I had Disney Plus on. And we were watching some of the, the old cartoons, and she put on the Mickey and the Lonesome Ghost. I'm like, oh, this was like this, that's like the stuff that got me into this when I was a kid, like watching those. I'm like, man, it's so good to see that again. No, it's still out there,
Mine was legit Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo was great, for sure. My God. And then I used to love when they had like the musical guests and stuff. One of my favorite ones still to this day was Mama Cass from the Mamas and the Papas with the chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry phantoms in the ice cream and candy factory. Like, just fantastic. It's like everything I loved in one episode. It was so great.
So great. Oh, so, I mean, I could sit here and talk to you for hours. I'm not going to lie, but I want to make sure you get everything out there that you need to get out.
Oh, I appreciate it, Jared. Yeah, I'm just trying to encourage people to just keep moving forward with anything, and I think a lot of people, and let me tell you, I'm going crazy with the like, I don't like television as it is, but like every time like I walk by, like, if I'm not watching Game of Thrones on demand, every time I walk by, there's a commercial about in these troubled times, we are here for you. I'm like, please stop with the 30-second loop of BS followed by the 15 minutes of what you want me to buy. Like, just don't try to sugarcoat it. Just give me like a dancing lizard tell me to buy insurance. That's fine. Stop like trying to like pander to the current situation. Like, I worked in television for years. I worked for CBS. I worked for Fox. I worked for an advertising company. So I know how all of it works. And it just makes me sick. Like, that's why I don't do it anymore. And it's just so frustrating to me, And I just want to tell people, obviously it's a difficult time, and we're all going through some things, and we're all gonna, unfortunately, we're going to lose a lot of people, and it's not to mitigate or downplay the loss, because I think it's awful that they put up that death count, and you see that number going higher and higher, and you stop thinking that these numbers are actual people, And so I think it's important to remember remember the humanity of it. Know that it sucks and we're going to suffer loss and it's difficult. But for those of us that get through this, the message I think that's most important is we look at the virus, right? Look at how it spreads from person to person, and look at how it went from one little place and one little marketplace or lab or wherever in China, and it goes all over the world, right? And if negativity, if viruses and things that can kill us can spread in that way, why can't kindness and love and thoughtfulness spread that way? It's all the same fabric of the universe. We're all woven so close together. Why can't we think about this in a way that we can do something positive with it when this is all over and we come out on the other side? If we're all this closely linked that one little virus can spread from person to person all over the globe, there's no reason that we can't spread kindness and love and thoughtfulness. And we're going to get through it. And when we get through it, we need to be careful not to forget about that and not to forget about how important each one of us is to each other, you know?
And if you had posted that on Twitter, I would have posted the GIF for preach. Preach, brother. Very well said. Very well said. Where can our listeners find you online? I know you've got a Twitter. Do you have any other of those cool little social things?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Everything's usually just Dustin Pari. Like however you got to put it in, that's what you'll get. But if you go to my website, which is dustinpari.com, and it's Pari, and dustinpari.com, you can go on there and you can get links to all my upcoming events and everything, which we will still be doing at some point. I believe in that. I'll be back on the road seeing everybody. You'll see that. You'll see all my books are on there. We've got 5 books so far. I'm writing some more now. They're paranormal. They're motivational. They're a lot of fun.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of stuff out there. And then, yeah, if you go over to youtube.com/Dustin Pari, you can see all my my motivational videos. And hey, get 'em, it's a really good time. None of them have gone viral yet because I'm not like a teenage girl doing makeup tutorials for 2 hours. But if you have 2 or 3 minutes to spare and you want to have a laugh and maybe find a little something to talk about, yeah, check it out.
So what he's saying is share and retweet those, please. But real quick, tell me about your books.
Oh, yeah. So we've got a bunch of it. I did some paranormal ones with Barry Fitzgerald back when I was on GHI. And I really enjoyed doing that kind of stuff, you know. And then I did a solo book called What's Next, which was a short, quick, easy read that I wrote when I left Ghost Hunters International. And it was a story about trying to get my own show on the air. And it's motivational in the way that's behind the scenes of the shows and encouraging people to let go of what they have and to reach out for what's next. Because at the time, although I'm so thankful for all the opportunities I've had with the shows and the people and to support me and love me, I was not happy at the end of my time with GHI, only because, not because of the show or the people, but because I missed being home and I missed being with my family, you know, and I had to leave something that was successful at the time and reached out in faith to try to find what was next to my own life. So that's what's in there. And then I did a book called And the Devil Shivered that has nothing to do with the devil, but it's a lyric from an old Willie Nelson song about life on the road. And I wrote every day for an entire year, ended up being the last season of Ghost Hunters. So there's behind the scenes stuff, there's personal stories, and lots of musical content and lyrics and things in there. So I really love that book. And then the last one I did was called Kaleidoscope Fragments of My Life. And it's got stories that I've been compiling from when I was a kid and all the way up to modern day. Little smatterings of poetry, behind the scenes stories of the show, motivational stories. There's a story about a duck that I met in a gift shop in New Hampshire when I was like a little kid. And I never forgot that duck. He played the piano. God rest his soul. I loved him. And there's a lot of nonsense, but I think there's a lot of good stuff in there, you know, and I think that's what I love the most about life, Kitsie, is that it's difficult. It sucks sometimes, but those struggles that we all go through, those little fragments, there's a commonality that we all share in that. And somehow there's some beauty and some hope in that, to know that none of us get out unscathed. It's not easy, but damn it, it's worth it.
Amen. Well said, sir. And they can find those books at your website, correct?
That's correct. Yep. DustinPari.com's got them all. It'll take you over to Amazon. You can get paperbacks or ebooks.
Ooh, ebooks. I might have to check that out. Very cool.
Thank you.
I so appreciate you doing this. This was just, I needed this just to sit and kind of, for lack of a better term, shoot the shit. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Yeah, it was a good time for sure.
Oddity Files is an independent production. Intro music created by DJ Jimmy. Wah, wah. 2020 artwork created by me, Kitsie Duncan. The opinions expressed in this podcast are ours, and ours alone. Well, maybe yours too. If you like the show and would like to support us, visit oddityfiles.com and click on support, or go to patreon.com/oddityfiles. Every little bit helps with both the podcast and the TV show. You can also support us by watching Oddity Files on Amazon Prime. It's free to Prime members and dirt cheap to those who aren't. You can find us on all the social media sites at Oddity Files. Keep spreading the word by sharing, retweeting, and reposting. Join our Oddity Files Facebook group by searching Oddity Files Fan Group and click Join. We'll approve you as soon as we can. All weirdos are welcome. Not into that social media stuff? Tell your coworkers, family, even the weird guy who just won't stop talking to you in line for coffee. Oh, and Grandma. Your grandma will love us. We appreciate each and every one of you, and if it weren't for you, we have no idea what we would do with our lives. If you have a story you'd like to submit, send it on in at oddityfilescrew@gmail.com. Also, send in story ideas, silly, weird memes, or just positive vibes to oddityfilescrew@gmail.com. You can also call in and leave that in a voicemail. Call us at 317-300-6699. To contact us about an appearance, reach out at Kitsie at oddityfiles.com. When you have a sec, rate, review, and subscribe. We know it doesn't sound like much, but it really helps us get up there in the podcasting charts. And remember, kids, weird is the new cool. Ghost on. Why are you still here? Go on. Get out of here. Turn it off. It's done. Really. I swear. Go. Get. Serious. I'm out of here.